Well, how about now? Look now. Hello, hello, hello. Well, it's metering here on my screen. I guess we'll find out after the first segment. Just listen in and but you don't see the meters. Well, I see them, so just check it when we get going.
He's just a regular guy with a cool job that God loves for some reason. Welcome to the Steve Marston Show, a daily journey in learning how to live more like Jesus, conversations with those that God is working through, and dad jokes. It's the most unique show you'll hear today. Now, here's Steve.
All right, thanks so much. It is the Steve Marston Show, and we are here for a Wednesday. Great to have you along, and we've got a brand new way to connect with us. We're always looking for exciting ways to be able to bring you into the conversation and into the fold, and we've got a new 800 number. It's 888 901 5454. So you can take that down, 888 901 5454 is the number to call if you want to be a part of the program. You've got something that you want to ask a question about, or maybe you want to comment on some of the things we're going to be talking about today. That's the number to use. One more time, 888 901 5454. And as we get started today, I wanted to talk about something that maybe has not been on your radar screen, but it was something that I saw a couple of days ago and thought, well, that's silly and fun and whatever, not a huge deal. Well, it turned out it kind of was a big deal. Here's what happened. You know, we live in this age where everyone has got to put their whole life on social media. Well, that goes for pastors and pastors' wives as well. So this pastor's wife said, I want to do something fun. So she did one of those videos where it's like, come with me while I ... Well, it was one of those where she decided, I'm going to leave a quote unquote spicy note for my husband, the pastor, inside of his sermon notes. So then the first thing he sees when he opens it to give the Sunday morning message will be this quote unquote spicy note. Now, let's define what the spicy note was. It says, Pastor, you look so hot today. I can't wait to get you home. Look, it's a married couple. They're just having a little fun. Now, I don't see anything really wrong with that. Again, putting it out on social media, I mean, it's the day and age we live in, kind of. I don't know. But she took so much flack from this. In fact, our friends over at protestia.com did a little poll on X with 3 options. One was, it's fun and it's fine. The other one was, it's not the best time to do it. And then the third one was, it's super wrong. 43% of the people said it was super wrong. And then not the best time was next with 46%. And then those that said it was fun and fine was only 9.6%. So the overwhelming majority of everyone who saw this story thought it was inappropriate and at best and super wrong at worst. So to her everlasting credit, this young lady who was the guilty party in doing this video, she made a follow-up video about it. And I wanted to play it for you here. Tommy, let's roll that. Okay, there's a lot to unpack with that video. First of all, kudos to her for being spiritually mature enough to see that keeping the video up was not healthy. People were taking sides and it was dividing. Good for her to say, you know what, it's not worth it. That's good. But I'm so proud of her for saying, you know what, it's just something that I was trying to encourage joy-filled marriages, and the fact that non-believers took it much better than the people inside the church really speaks volumes to me. I thought it was fun. What had been inappropriate, not really. I mean, I'm not the kind that wants to put my whole life on social media. This young lady and her husband are, 20 years younger than me, probably. That's their wheelhouse. So that's just what's going to happen. Again, not a huge deal for me, but the best thing we could be happiest for is the fact that the husband's not Ron Burgundy. You know what I mean? And just start reading whatever's put in front of him. That's probably the best thing that happened out of this. But again, I thought it was such a good way for her, who had such great intentions and was innocent in heart in doing this, said, you know what, this is causing problems, and I'm just going to take a step back and I'm going to apologize for it, even though there's not a whole lot to apologize for. I'm going to be the servant here. I'm going to be what Jesus would have me to do here and not cause division among people. So good for her. And that's the thing about this. I looked and searched trying to find their names, and I couldn't. They're just not online anywhere. But kudos to the wife for not only doing the video and having fun and trying to promote, hey, Christians have great marriages and fun, joy-filled marriages, but also the spiritual discernment to say, okay, maybe it just didn't go over the way I wanted it to, and I apologize for that. So good on her all the way around. Just before we wrap up this first segment, I got to mention again our podcast. This is so amazing to me, and it's just stunning, the numbers that we've got here on this little radio show that is uploaded as a podcast every single day. And I know you may have heard me crow about these numbers the other day, and it's like, Steve, really move on. But it blows me away. Like, just yesterday, we had 164 downloads in one day. And then you extrapolate that over just the last 7 days, and the number is at, let's see, how many in just the 422 in the last 7 days. And the places everywhere, there's 50. Let me see, what number did I say? It was 52 countries have downloaded this program just in the last week. 52. So I would love to hear from somebody who is in one of these countries listening to the program. Please email me, steve@salemmedia.com. Tell me where you're at, why you're listening, how you found us, because I am intrigued that many people literally around the world is listening and watching our podcast. So again, thank you from the bottom of my heart, because this is just mind-blowing to me that you are digging what we're doing, and you're telling friends about it, and they're watching and listening. And it is just, it really is just overwhelming. And again, thank you doesn't do it, but I do say thank you from the bottom of my heart as we move on here on the Steve Marston Show. Big show coming up. Special guest Jason Curry will be here after a while. When we come back, we'll celebrate a very special day because the anniversary is today. We'll talk about Okay, we're back. It is Wednesday, and we are glad that you are tuning us in here, however you consume the program. Let me remind you, got a brand new way to connect with us. You can call us at 888-901-5454, 888-901-5454. Today is a very special day, not just for Major League Baseball or for sports, but for the country at large. It was 79 years ago today that Jackie Robinson integrated Major League Baseball and broke down the color barrier. Now, if you're a young kid, you think this is weird to talk about our country like this. It is. I mean, even people my age, I don't remember having separate water fountains and separate bathrooms and the different things. That was from my parents' generation. They remembered it very well. And we were such a divided country back then. And Jackie Robinson was the first person to take a giant leap forward in racial equality in our country. Because you got to think about this. This was 1947 this happened. This is 10 years before they integrated public schools in Little Rock. It's almost 20 years before Martin Luther King and the Civil Rights Act of 1964. I mean, this was extraordinary. Branch Rickey was the owner of the team that brought Jackie up. And the famous line was, Jackie said, well, you just want someone who is weak that won't fight back. And Branch told him, no, I need someone who's strong enough not to fight back. Jackie Robinson is a hero in every sense of the word, the way he conducted himself through such racism. I mean, you talk about being the Lone Ranger. He was it for a long time. I want to play you this video clip. This goes back to 1998. A great old player from the Negro Leagues named Buck O'Neill was the one who really brought Jackie to a new generation. He was on David Letterman, and he talked about the impact Jackie had on those in the Negro Leagues. Thank you, Jackie. I love it. That's the great Buck O'Neill, finally into the Baseball Hall of Fame several years after his passing, which was a horrible tragedy. But him talking about Jackie Robinson in those days is just amazing. And what's cool about it is Major League Baseball has made April 15th every year Jackie Robinson Day. So everybody that's playing tonight will wear Jackie's number 42, and they'll have big commemoration services, or ceremonies, I should say, throughout Major League Baseball. But again, it's such a bigger story than just baseball. It transcends sports and transcends to the life of American history. And you can't tell the story of America without Jackie Robinson, because he was that important of a social figure. Just just an amazing man, and the strength that he had to endure what he endured to be able to make our country what it was always supposed to be. You know, every person pursuing their God given freedoms of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So, just wanted to take a moment and make sure we didn't forget about Jackie Robinson here on April 15th. Okay, let me tell you also that we've got several things coming up for you here on the program. In just a little bit, we will be getting to You Cannot Be Serious. That is a new feature that we're doing where we take some of the crazy, wild stuff that you can't believe people actually said or did, and we put it in that segment. So that's coming up here in just a little bit. Plus, we'll have an update on that Jesus AI chat feature, you know, where there's $1.99 a minute. Well, I wish I'd have thought of this. Some brilliant people from churchleaders.com. It's a great website that I encourage you to check out from every day for a great news source. They actually signed up for a free trial run with this AI Jesus, and they got a chance to ask this AI Jesus all kinds of questions, and we'll give you the story of what happened with that coming up here in just a little while. It's pretty fun, pretty interesting. And when we come back, we'll be joined by our buddy Jason Curry. Jason is the author of a book called Finish Empty. It's just about giving everything you have in life to your pursuits, to your work, to your family, to everything that God has given you. We'll talk about the book, but we'll also talk about a really interesting post he had on X the other day that I just thought we needed to talk about. It's called 3 Killers of an Effective Day, because that's what we all want, right? I mean, we wake up in the morning, thank God for another day to live and move and breathe. And I think all of our prayer is to be used in an effective way. Well, there's some things that Jason's identified that will kind of kill that. So we want to bring that to you coming up here as we move on. And again, we'd love to hear from you on the phones. Brand new phone number, 888-901-5454. 888-901-5454. Call and you could be on the Steve Marston Show. We've got more coming up, so stay with us. All right, welcome back to Steve Marston Show, rolling on, and we'd love to hear from you today. Call us at 888-901-5454. And it's time to welcome in our special guest. While you're doing that, it's our buddy Jason Curry, who is on the road somewhere in our great country. Hey, Jason, how are you, man?
I'm doing good, Steve. I'm doing good. I just got in from Austin, Texas, back to Little Rock, and now I'm in Jackson, Mississippi, and what a beautiful day it is here.
A traveling man. So I know.
That's it.
Yeah. So no rest for you that way. Going from that's quite a commute, having to stop back at home.
It is. Have to grab a new suitcase and then hit the road. But a wonderful time with the team from Encore Bank in Austin, and then I'm going to be here in Jackson with the church, Brandon Baptist Church, and we're having a revival from tonight until Saturday. And so I'm just getting to do what God created me to do and having a wonderful time doing it.
That is tremendous. And one of the things I know you get to speak on with your clients from the corporate world is your book, Finish Empty. It is it's done so well for you. I mean, we talked about it really, I guess, the day that it came out. We had you on to promote it. How's the sales been going? What kind of responses have you been getting from it?
It has been, honestly, one of those moments in life. It was really overwhelming. I think anybody who's ever written a book or done something creative or tried to make a difference, there's this moment in the back of your mind where you go, is anybody going to read this? Is it going to make a difference? Is it going to make an impact? And you hope it does. But to see the response and to see teams and corporations and schools, I think at the start of the school year next year, I'll get to speak to about 25 different schools. And it's just basic leadership principles that people can apply to their life or to their business or to their team. And I wrote it, so it's simple to understand, and anybody can understand and read through it. And when they start to apply it, everything changes, I think.
And here's the thing, too, about it. When you say you've written it in a very simple way, when you're talking about it in the corporate world especially, but even in all walks of life, we're all busy. We all have a million things worth to do. And when you're trying to build team camaraderie and being able to get everybody pulling the rope in the same direction, you need something that's kind of easy and kind of light, but that is really noteworthy.
Yes, absolutely. Well, and the word that we're looking for here is simplistic.
Yeah, there you go.
So if everybody's going to get on the same page, pull in the same direction, it's got to be simple. And sometimes we try to be too impressive, and impressive is hard to be impactful at the same time. And so the more simple you can make something, the more understandable it is. And we confuse these things. Simple is not easy. Okay.
There you
go. And so we want to communicate in a simple way, vision and standards and character. But living those things out are not easy. You don't have a chance of doing that if everybody doesn't understand in the first point. And so the book does help. When folks read it, there's reflection. They can talk around it. There's questions at the end of every chapter, and helps them really look in the mirror and go, okay, what if I didn't have to live saying I wish I had? What if I could live each day saying I'm glad I did? And when you get a group of people doing that, you can achieve some phenomenal things together.
You certainly can. Jason Curry is our guest. He's the author of the book, Finish Empty. You can find out more at real simple website. We're talking about simplicity. finishempty.com is where you can buy a copy of that. And I'm so thankful that God is using you in all of these ways, because if I'm not mistaken, you just started out as a youth pastor, and now all of a sudden you've got all of these doors open for you. I bet it's kind of been overwhelming, right?
It really has been overwhelming. And Finish Empty was a sermon before it was anything else. And so I always say I backed into a career in leadership training. I think the right theological approach to that is when you're obedient where you are, you never know what God's going to do. And Finish Empty was just about living our life. I mean, come on the cross, Jesus said, it is finished. Paul says, I'm being poured out like a drink offering. Just to live a life where you go where you're supposed to go, do what you're supposed to do, and be who you're supposed to be. That's a life where you can look back and really find some fulfillment when it's based in Christ. And the Bible is full of leadership principles because all truth belongs to God. And Finish Empty has allowed me to take those leadership biblical principles and present them in a way that you can in corporate America. And I just never dreamed what God would do through it. But yes, in a small room, 20, 30 kids on a Wednesday night, And if you're just faithful there and pour out your heart, you just never know what God's going to do. And that's been the story of my life. It really has, Steve.
That's such a wonderful and totally God kind of thing. Let's talk about this X post you had formerly on Twitter. And it was something that really struck me when I saw it. It said 3 killers of an effective day. Now, I know that all of us, I would hope, most all of us get up every day, thank God for the day and another day to live and move and breathe in his creation. And we want to be used. We want to have an effective day. But you identified some things that are obstacles that we can be on the lookout for.
That's right. And let me give you 2 words to think about, or 2 phrases, drifting and then blind spots. And so both of those by nature, you don't notice them, right? You barely notice when you're drifting. Blind spots by very definition, you don't see that they're there. And so every now and then you have to push pause and have a moment where you're honest with yourself. The Word of God really helps us with that as the Holy Spirit speaks to us. But there's 3 killers. Distraction. If Satan can't get you to live rebellious, he'll lead you to live just distracted. What does that look like? Chasing things that don't matter, chasing things that don't last, chasing things that are not kingdom focused. And so you live a life, but it's not really consequential. It's just kind of there, and you're just distracted by things of the world. And you see that a lot. Then, boy, our generation, I'm going to say like this is me too. I have to fight this as a husband and a dad, to be disengaged. Like I'm in a room and I'm on my phone, or I'm in a room and I'm reading the news of what's happening somewhere else in the room or somewhere else in the world. I'm there, but I'm not really there. And so it's hard for God to use us when we're not engaged and we don't see people that are sitting across from us, and we're not listening and actively praying without ceasing and going, God, how could you use me in this moment right now? And so if we weren't distracted and if we're not disengaged, we can be right in the middle of what God's doing. But then the third one is discouraged. The folks that wake up and go, God could never use me. God would never work through me. Maybe I've messed it up too much, or what's the point? And so they kind of throw in the towel on living today for the kingdom. And all 3 of them, distraction, disengagement, or discouragement, Satan loves to use those in our lives to keep us from what God's called us to. But we take one focused step, or one intentional action, or one decision to stay engaged, or one moment where we go, you know what? Christ in me is the hope of glory. I think things start to turn around, and you just never know what God's going to do through you.
Oh, absolutely. And I look at the second one, that disengaged, because I can't tell you how many times, whether it's my wife or one of my kids, as I'm sitting in my chair, they're talking to me, and I hear this question, are you listening? Because I've got my phone in my hand, and
that's it.
9 times out of 10, I have heard the words, but I'm not in the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is really neat, Steve. This is where all truth is God's truth, right? And then you can go into the corporate world or leadership world or sports world and kind of import some of these truths. But what do we know now is that multitasking is really a lie. You're just doing a bunch of stuff poorly at the same time. It's so much better to look at your family and go, hey, can I have 5 minutes if you're working on something? Devote yourself to that and then come back to them, or shut the laptop, pause the TV, put your phone out of your hand, and turn around and engage in those conversations, because you can be in a room and not really be there. And that's not helping you. That's not helping them. And it's really not helping whatever you're distracted by that you're watching or consuming either.
I know that's true. And, you mentioned how it just kind of slowly erodes. These things don't all happen at once. I remember one time you were talking about giving a devotion to a group of kids. I had a chance one time to kind of do the same thing. And I said, have you ever been to the beach and you're just out in the water and you're just playing, you're just messing around, and you look up and you say, hey, where's my stuff? Somebody stole my stuff. What's going on? And then you look down to your right and it's way down at the other end. It's like, well, the land didn't move. Who moved? But we just don't even realize that I really feel like as human beings that's what we are. We're drifters.
Absolutely.
And if we don't make intense effort, if we don't make intentional effort to stay connected, we're just going to drift.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's two phrases. So scripture says, be sober and be vigilant, because the devil prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour.
That's right.
And so be sober means don't be under the influence of the world. And be vigilant means like a football player who's looking for the blindside hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I've got to be aware, and being aware of drifting is one of the most difficult things spiritually in life. It's why you don't need to just attend a church. You need to be part of a church where somebody can call you out, where they know your real life. It's why folks that are married, you have to invite that accountability in your life. You need to have a friend that loves you enough to say things that you don't like, because God puts people, godly people in our life to help us see the things in our life that we can't see on our own. And boy, Steve, I don't like this, but Satan's crafty. He really will. He'll slow play us into just a little bit every day, a little bit every day. And there's probably somebody listening to me right now, and a year, 2 years, 3 years, and they turn around and they go, how did I get here? And it wasn't one big intentional rebellious moment. It was just a series of lifting up your feet. And then all of a sudden, that's how the drift happens.
Boy, that's so true. So true. Jason Curry is our guest. He is a corporate speaker. He's a pastor. He's an author, and he's an all-around good guy. He's joining us here on the Steve Marston Show. And we got just a few minutes left. I wanted to bring up, because I know you come from a big baseball family. I wanted to bring up Jackie Robinson Day and the impact that he had, not only on baseball and on sports, but just on the society at large. Because when you think about him breaking the color barrier, I think our first thing is to go to, that's the 60s. No, this was 1947. No.
Yes, absolutely. Earth-shattering, culture-changing, the courage. And if you turn on the TV tonight, everybody's wearing 42. It's Jackie Robinson Day. But come on with the talent, too. I mean, the Rookie of the Year is the Jackie Robinson Award because he won Rookie of the Year. He didn't just break the color barrier. Like, he shattered everything, right? And then he's the National League MVP in 49, six-time All-Star, World Series champion in 1955. Like, if you're going to have somebody that you go, that's what courage looks like. That's how you maximize capacity. That's how you make a difference. That's how you just decide you're going to break down the wall. Jackie Robinson's your guy. I think a hero for anybody who's tackled something hard. He's just an amazing man, an incredible baseball player. We could go for hours on that, Steve.
No doubt. And now I know Branch Rickey had the famous conversation. You'll probably know it verbatim better than I do, but it was something along the lines of Jackie's like, well, you don't want somebody that doesn't have the courage to fight back. And Branch says, no, I've got to find someone who's got the courage not to fight back.
Oh, man. And I could talk about that for hours because, fire can heat a building or it can burn it down.
Yeah.
And so it's how it's contained. And so many of us feel like I always have to respond. I always have to say something back. And boy, I think a good Greek word description of meekness is power under control. And Jackie just believed he did not have to respond. He did not have to give in. He did not have to stoop to the level of people who were attacking him. And he won.
Yeah.
I mean, all these years later, and we're talking about his character, we're talking about his ability, we're talking about his leadership and courage. And that sounds good now on the radio. When you're going through it in 1947, it's just really hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
And you and I, you're younger than I am, but we don't have any idea what it was like to have separate water fountains and separate bathrooms and separate places to eat. I mean, that just seems so foreign to us, but really it wasn't all that long ago that, I mean, my parents' generation remembers that, and the fact that Jackie did this, 20 years before the Civil Rights Act, 10 years before Little Rock schools were integrated for the first time. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just, it's mind blowing how much courage this guy had to have.
Yeah, I have obviously no reference point for the things that he had to face, and the things that so many people in our culture have to face. I just have admiration, and to be able to So you said I'm from a baseball family, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just from a nerdy standpoint, the accomplishments on the field, if all other circumstances in his life were perfect, are still astonishing. For him to be able to accomplish what he did in baseball while changing the landscape of America is absolutely phenomenal. There's no word that I could use to describe it that would adequately summarize what Jackie Robinson accomplished.
No doubt. He was, like you said earlier, he's a hero for every generation. Just so thankful that our society and our culture has progressed the way it has. And Jackie was like the first real person to do that. So, man, it has been an honor again to talk to you, bud. It's always fun catching up. Again, tell everybody about the book. Tell everybody how they can get a copy, and we'll let you go.
Yep. If you're feeling stuck or you got a team that needs to move in the right direction, go to finishempty.com. The link is there. The book is simple, and I think it'll help change your life. Finishempty.com.
All right, that's our buddy Jason Curry. Thanks, man. Have a good meeting there in Mississippi.
We'll do it. Thanks, Steve.
All right, buddy. Again, love having him on. He brings the energy all the time. He brings the passion, and he's just such a person who gets the most out of life. And that's what we all want. I mean, we all are attracted to people that can light up a room like Jason can, and to be able to bring truth, but bring it in simple terms like he was talking about. Again, check it out. You'll love the book. It's called Finish Empty, and you can find it at finishempty.com. Okay, on our way back, we'll have some crazy fun stuff with our feature called You Cannot Be Serious. Plus, we'll see what else is going on in the world today. The Steve Marston Show, back before you know it. Not bad, not bad. I like that. That's that's our dad joke of the day. Welcome back. It's the Steve Marston Show. Happy to have you here. And let's see what else is going on in the world. Oh, I promised you this a little bit earlier. Remember, we talked about the other day this AI Jesus, $1.99 a minute, where you can chat with the Messiah, right? Or at least the artificial intelligent Jesus. Well, churchleaders.com is a great website. They keep you up to date on all kinds of news and have stuff that is, geared toward church leaders, all kinds of articles and different resources. Top of the line, good site to visit on the regular. Well, they decided to do something fun. And actually, I'm kind of upset that I didn't think about doing this because I should have. They signed up for a trial account with this outfit, and they still had to pay $24.75 for a 24-minute video call with AI Jesus. So that breaks down, a little over $1 a minute. And they took the time to ask this AI Jesus about Christian doctrine and about exclusive Christianity, meaning, is Jesus the only way? And the AI Jesus, I think this is crazy and fun, but always answered by prefacing saying, I hear your thoughtful question. I see that your heart is really excited about this matter. And it just kind of gave basic answers. I mean, nothing wrong, nothing incorrect about its scriptural answers. But it's just such a waste of money. I don't understand why people would do this, because we have the Bible, right? We don't have to worry about what Jesus thought or said or did or wanted us to think or say or do. He left us a manual. You have an owner's manual for your car. You've got an owner's manual for life. It's right there. I know. Just calm down, Steve. It's all right. But one thing that is fun, though, the AI Jesus did remind people that he was not the living Christ. He was just an AI kind of facsimile. So yeah, if anybody was under any delusion that you were talking to the real Jesus, no. What? And again, he left us one of those ways too. It's called prayer. But anyway, I'm not going to get off on that tangent. Let's move on. Oh, this will be fun for you folks in San Antonio, because we're on a couple of great radio stations, AM 630, The Word there in the Alamo City, and Faith Talk 99.5 in Little Rock. Well, yesterday, one of my favorite artists, matter of fact, maybe my very favorite artist, Stephen Curtis Chapman, and his wife were in town, and they visited the Barnes and Noble store, and they left a little surprise for the next customer to buy one of their books. Let's watch this video that they posted. So if you're just listening on radio, it's Stephen and his wife inside the San Antonio Barnes and Noble. So she goes back to find her book on the shelf. They actually leave the store and buy a Sharpie so that she can autograph it. So here's what I want to have happen. Do hard things. Nothing's impossible with God. Hedgehogs don't wear underwear. Nice. If you are in San Antonio and you go to that Barnes Noble and find that book, I want to talk to you. 888 901 5454. Okay. Let's see what else is going on in the world today. We'll check this story out, which was, I thought, kind of interesting as well. JD Vance talking to the Pope. Remember, he went and kind of took up for, I guess, Donald Trump with some disagreements that the president had. And JD Vance kind of says, hey, you should be careful discussing matters of theology, which you would think the Pope would be good at theology, but maybe not. Maybe not. Another thing making headlines here is what we talked about yesterday with Logan Paul and his podcast, having Joel Osteen on. A lot of people still not crazy happy with the answers that Joel Osteen gave. And if you missed my thoughts on it, you can go back into the archives and check it out, because I thought it was a good appearance by Joel. He did make some good points, but boy, he left so much on the table is what I think. And you can go back and listen should you so desire. Okay, we also like to do from time to time when there is just these goofy, crazy stories that happen, we like to do a little segment called You Cannot Be Serious. And one of our contestants here that has made the cut today is Joy Behar from The View. Now, it's a panel show, and the ladies are discussing Jesus being the Messiah. Again, they're way out of their league on this, but let's watch what Joy Behar had to say. No, it's you cannot be serious. All right, back in a minute. Here we are on a Wednesday, just about to wrap things up. We do have time for you to join us if you'd like to call in. It's 888-901-5454. That number, one more time, is 888-901-5454. Every day we like to go over a Bible verse. It's Faith Between Your Ears. We try to learn a verse throughout the whole week, and we are in Psalm 16, verses 8 and 9. Say, Steve, I thought you said it was only one verse. Okay, it's two, but it's not really a whole lot of words. And it's so good, though. It says, I have set the Lord continually before me. Because he is at my right hand, I will not be shaken. It means if you're setting God as your first priority and you're intentional about that, like we were talking about with Jason Curry earlier, nothing's going to shake you. And it says, because that's true, my heart is glad and my glory rejoices, and my flesh also will dwell securely. It's peace of mind, happiness, contentment. There it all is right there, all rolled into one in that verse. So let's learn it together. Psalm 16, verses 8 and 9. And I don't know what the best way it is for you to learn. And there's no excuses. There's no saying, well, I can't memorize. I'm too old. No, you're not. Write it out longhand, maybe record it in your voice memo and listen back to it. Say it over and over, whatever it takes for you to get this memorized. Let's do it. So we'll go over it again tomorrow. Faith Between Your Ears, Psalm 16, verses 8 and 9. And coming up tomorrow here on the Steve Marston Show, we will be joined by my son, Tyler. He has a YouTube channel called 1189, and it's where he goes and breaks down every chapter of the Bible in a video commentary. They're excellent. And even if he wasn't my son, I would love to have him on because it's such a good work. We'll talk to him about his latest video tomorrow. And as we wrap up today, here's the best video on the internet that you'll see maybe ever. It's a man with Down syndrome fulfilling his lifelong dream of being a professional boxer. This is good. Watch this. So those of you listening on radio, there's a young man, and he is boxing this professional boxer. And to the everlasting credit of the boxer, he's jabbing, he's moving, he's trying to throw some punches, and he's allowing himself to get hit and allowing himself to be clubbed by the young man with Down syndrome. They continue to fight and box for a couple of rounds here. This goes a long time. And then a big right to the head from the young man with Down syndrome, and he's pitter-patting with a jab, and now another overhand right hand. And they'll stay at this for a couple of more seconds here. Down goes the professional boxer, and they continue to kind of square off there in the ring. And now here's the decision at the end of the fight, and the official is going to raise the hand of the Down syndrome young man, much to the chagrin of the professional boxer. Oh, that's good stuff. It's worth going and checking out on the video stream. All right, we're done for today. Have a great rest of your afternoon. Back tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Hope you'll join us. Adios.